Yo, what is up, YouTube? As you guys know, I'm Blitz5, and here's the first edition of our Halo podcast. So for this, I sat down with one of my best friends, Tom, aka Kyrie the Great, that's his gamer tag, and Chris, his gamer tag being Fettuccini, so you might hear us talking to each other with those names interchangeably. We decided to do this over Curse, so we sat down virtually online. We figured we would talk about the game. It's been a week since it came out. We're huge fans of the Halo series. We're going to be playing Halo 5 a lot. We wanted to talk about the game. There's so much to talk about. This is definitely, in our opinion, one of the best Halos since Halo 2. So there's a lot of information here. It's a little over an hour long. Eventually, if we keep doing this week to week, we're going to be putting this in a form where you guys can download it on your phone, and then you could just listen to us talk about Halo. We have some tips in here for new players. If you're just looking for some talk on Halo or maybe an overall review, just some thoughts on the game, this is what we provided, at least with week one. So I'm going to start it off. Please let me know what you guys think, and thanks for checking it out. Let's five them out. Peace.
All right. Scene 2 and action.
All right, so what's up, guys? So we already talked before the show. No one's played Halo today, but it's been a week into Halo, so we figured we'd do a podcast. We have Chris and Tom with me, talking on Curse.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Got off work today. Probably going to play Halo after this if you guys are down.
Very much
Most
so.
definitely.
Nice. So it's been a week of Halo. I'm pulling up how much time we have played in the game. Last time I checked, Chris had a little over 20 hours. I have about 7 or 8 hours played in the game. And I'm going to assume that Tom has about 15 to 20. Wouldn't you say, Tom?
Yeah, probably around that.
So collectively, we probably have over 50 hours in the game so far. So I think that we'd have a pretty good idea of like what the game is so far. I know there's going to be probably updates and stuff like that going forward, but at least into week one, I think we have a good idea of where the game is. With over 50 hours played, we've played pretty much like every game type. I've used almost every weapon available in multiplayer. So I think we're going to have a pretty good assumption of how the game is. So I don't know if you guys want to start it off. Like I guess we could ask you, Tom. You got the game first and played it first. So, I mean, what were your initial impressions of playing the game compared to the previous Halos?
My first initial was I enjoyed how like clean it was. Like as far as like the movements and stuff. Like in Halo 4, like you felt very like heavy, almost like how you did in Halo 1, like jumping and things like that.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. Yeah.
You felt like very clunky, so I was kind of scared that would happen again, but it didn't. So I was very happy about that. I watched because all the pros got it like a week early, so I watched a lot of them on stream. So I kind of the game was, so it wasn't like.
Do you think it's unfair that so many people got the game so early? Like they gave out copies to pros and YouTube players. Do you think that's unfair?
I mean, I didn't think it was unfair because, like, I mean, for people who like care about ranks, which I'm not one of them, but like, some people were saying how they would have like a higher rank and a better advantage that a whole week earlier, but the pre-release edition had its own. It was like like the game. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the game type was called like pre-release Slayer, so it didn't even like really affect like the ranks that everyone else would play.
Oh no way! I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, and
look at Tom dropping some major knowledge.
Even
okay.
Even if you are someone who doesn't care about like ranks, like it's their job to play this game. So, and there was a tournament that this past weekend. I mean, not a lot of pros went, but most of the people that had the pre-release went. So I mean, it gave them a little chance to kind of come up with some sort of strat for the tournament. So it's not that big of a deal to me. Some people may just think about it, but I mean, it's their job. So to play this game, like it's what they get paid to do. So if they get it a week early, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess there's really no advantage to getting the game early except for leveling up, but there's no weapon like in Call of Duty back in the day, like Black Ops 2. If you were like level 40, you could have a certain gun. So like there's really no advantage to I mean, you'd have more rec packs, but there's barely anything in the game that gives you like an actual material advantage when you're in like Slayer, especially because the rec packs you can't use them in the regular arena. I think a lot of people are probably confused with that who haven't played Halo.
Honestly, I was even watching the streamers like open up packs on like stream and stuff. Like, I still didn't realize that you couldn't use them like until I had the game, actually, like that you couldn't use it in regular Slayer.
Yeah, I didn't know how they were going to be doing that. Chris, did you understand that whole system?
I mean, I had no idea. I just kept opening packs as they were given to me, and then I slowly realized that they were for Warzone. A little bit more of a tutorial, I guess, and how that worked would be better. But I mean, I don't really mind it at this point. But
yeah,
it's some prior knowledge or prior like, heads up would have been better, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they did a great job of explaining a lot of things in the game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say the articles on Waypoint, days before the event came or days before the game came out that like explained those things, like weren't really written very well. Like as far as like explaining Warzone or explaining like the rec packs, like
yeah,
left
totally
me pretty confused.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not, I mean, I would consider us three pretty big fans of Halo, and even then we didn't know that much. And I did like research on Warzone, and like I read about it, but I still didn't understand what was going on until I got in the game. And even so, if you have no idea what you're doing and you put in the game and you play Warzone, like it's so confusing. It took me like a couple of games just to understand what was going on. It's like, and there's so many buttons, and like with the new additions of like, I mean, some of these were in Halo 4, but like the ground and pound, the sprint, the like running melee. There's a lot of stuff that way. But one thing before we get off topic about the rec packs, I think it's pretty weird now that the rec packs are only used for like Warzone, right? Am I mistaken on that? That's the only playlist they can be used in.
No, it's the only one that.
I mean, unless you get like the customization like things.
Well,
I mean,
you get the skins, assassinations, and all those can be used. All the cosmetic features can be used for Arena, but in terms of weapons and everything, that's all for Warzone gameplay.
Okay, so it's just like at first I wasn't going to sell anything, but then after Tom told me he was selling stuff because he doesn't play that game type, I kind of agree. Like I like that game type, but I don't think I'm going to be playing it enough to like use everything. So I'm gonna be selling a lot of the stuff that I get now.
Yeah, I literally. Go ahead, Chris.
I started selling a lot of things or like weapons I didn't prefer, and like vehicles I would never use in Warzone, just to kind of get more gold packs. I mean, that's how I got one of the assassination animations too, so I think I'm going to continue doing that. Yeah. But things like the Ghost and sniper rockets, things like that, like very useful items, I'll keep stockpiling for whenever I do go into a Warzone game.
Yeah.
I sell everything. I don't have one Warzone card. I just sell it all and just buy more. Like Chris, I just buy more gold packs.
Well, don't you think you should save a couple though for Warzone at least?
I keep like the overshields and stuff just because they're only worth like 50 like rec points compared to some of the other stuff, which is like vehicles. Depending on like the vehicle, like what vehicle it is, like some of them are worth up to like 150 when you sell them, and then like most weapons are like 75 to 100. But like I said, I keep the power ups and stuff. But as far as everything else, I literally sell everything because I'm never gonna play Warzone by myself. So it's like the only time I'm gonna play is when we have like a bunch of people online. So I feel like I'd much rather sell it and buy more packs and get skins and stuff because I'd be using that more.
So let me ask you, because I don't know what it's like to not have anything in Warzone. So when you go into Warzone and we get to like level 3 or 4, you can't even buy a Ghost because you don't have the card.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even know because I don't even go to the rec station.
No, it does work that way. Like I didn't know how it worked eventually, or initially when I first started playing Warzone, and I used like all the vehicles. Like I had 2 of the Mantis cards, and I realized that afterwards I didn't have any more. Those are the 2 like I think they're rare or epic like level cards. But as soon as I use those, I don't have them anymore. So you kind of do expend them, and it is a finite number to have. So if you don't watch it, if you have a rare card, then you don't. It's not available if it's not in inventory.
Okay. I see what you're saying. So if you literally sold every Ghost pack, you wouldn't be able to buy a Ghost.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing I was about to say, because I mean, I had like 2 Mantises and all the packs open, but I think I have like 80 Ghosts or something. I seem to get one like every pack I open.
Yeah,
so I mean, obviously things are more common, but a lot of those rare things, like I've only have a few swords. A lot of those things I'm holding on to, and I definitely wouldn't sell just for the the variety's sake of actually using them in Warzone.
Yeah, I think like selling a mongoose is pretty safe because literally I get like 5 in every pack, and I never get
Yeah.
a mongoose. I don't know, but it looks like some of the mongoose have like the machine gun on the front, so maybe it's more worth it than I think. But I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah,
seem to be.
Yeah, it seems like there's also rare versions of and different versions of battle rifles and all, pretty much every weapon. I've only really tried the battle rifle one that kind of has like an ACOG type scope, like from COD.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, so
and it seems to be.
this is just coming to my brain now. So I couldn't use a sniper the other day in Warzone. I couldn't even buy one. But the reason why I couldn't get one is because I didn't have the sniper card.
Yeah,
Oh,
Essentially.
okay. And the sniper card is probably really rare because they don't want everyone just sniping all the time.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
I get
I get a lot of beam rifles a lot, much like the alien sniper. But
Yeah,
I
I've never
don't
gotten
think I've
the-
even gotten
Yeah.
like the human one, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Same.
I don't think I've even seen one. I've only been killed by one. I think like one time online or like in Warzone. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's really rare to get.
And I was thinking about this day at work that playing multiplayer in arena, I haven't seen any normal shotguns. Are they? Is that gun even in the game? The human shotgun?
Oh no, it is.
Yeah, it's on.
Which
Yeah.
the map that has the pit in it in Stronghold has a shotgun. There's
not a
one
scatter shot?
I think in Eden. No. I think there's 2 maps I know for sure have
Okay.
shotguns, and
I
the
just haven't
rest
seen it yet.
the scatter shot seems much more available. I know Coliseum has it. Rig has it. What I'm thinking of right now, there's only 2 maps I know that have the actual shotgun. But it does seem to be pretty strong. So I'm kind of glad they do have the rarity. It does have the rarity. It does.
Yeah, it is. That the shotgun is really strong in that game. In Halo 5, I mean. So, I mean, now that we're talking about it, what do you guys think of the guns so far? There's definitely, I mean, a lot of the guns are the same that we've seen in Halo. There's actually a bunch of the new like medium to heavier type weapons. I think you would call them like the plasma caster, and that one that's like a grenade launcher.
The Hydra.
The Hydra.
Yeah, but then there's also like the alien version of the grenade launcher too, right? Or is that the plasma caster?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the-
that's
That's
the
the
plasma
plasma
caster.
caster,
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah.
guys think of those?
And I mean, I love the weapon balance so far. I think, and even just like the past few times I've been playing, like making sure to pick up every weapon off the map, like the bolt shot and carbine. I mean, carbine's obviously a Halo staple at this point, but it seems like every weapon has viability, and even some of the specialty weapons like the Needler, you can get like 3 kills out of a clip if you use it right. Every weapon seems to be playable to that extent, where you can pick up anything and get kills with the DMR is still as strong. All the specialty weapons, like we just talked about, all are really good and are really game changers. Like they've always been in Halo, getting the rocker, getting the sniper on a map can change the tides of things. And if you know how to use the plasma, the Hydra, it can do the same.
Yeah, I have to agree.
And
At first, I was a little bummed out because I was like, "Oh man, this is the same old Halo when all you need is a BR, and then like all you do is play around the rockets and sniper rifle," which it still very much has that aspect to it. But I picked up the Needler, and yeah, you're right, Chris. It's super strong. You could probably get 2 or 3 kills out of it easily in one clip. That's super strong. The plasma caster, even though it's hard, you have to hold it down and charge it. As long as you get close to somebody, you pretty much kill them. It's really powerful. And
Yeah, and I find a lot of people are, and I know I play it the same way, and it can be hard to use, but I think patience with that a lot, especially when you're playing with teammates and you keep using charge shots and just getting stickies with it. You can essentially get a kill out of every bullet or round in that if you play it right. So it's really, really strong, just hard to use compared to
What a lot of pros do with that gun too that I've seen on stream is they'll shoot it at the ground and let because the grenades bounce when they shoot out of it. So like they'll shoot it at the ground
too.
and like let them bounce off the ground and it's like an instant kill every time instead of actually trying to hit the person with it.
because it's
It's
harder
like
to
the old
target.
brute shot. So like the
Yeah.
old brute shot, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've seen a lot of play. At least I know I've done it when I've panicked in terms of charging a shot. It's like shoot at the ground or shoot at the wall near like a group of enemies because I know once it explodes and scatters, it has a chance to clean up a kill. So it's just so you can lay down so much damage.
At first, the railgun, which we haven't mentioned, at first I kind of hated it, but the more you get to use it, It's kind of, I mean, it's hard to aim because it's just like that one shot and you have to, charge it up. It's hard to like time it, but
it's actually one of the guns I have and maybe it was a connection issue, but I feel like there's more than a few times in the week since I started playing that, it should be an instant kill if you're hitting someone in the chest. But there's been times where I've hit someone and it's only taking the shield down. So maybe I'm just, again, it's connection or consistency issues. But I feel like sometimes I was shot and like at a point blank, gotten a point blank hit and no kill has come from it. So I wonder if there is something I'm missing with that gun as well. But it is strong.
I think it is supposed to be a one shot kill. So yeah, I think it might be like you're hitting like maybe an arm or there's a connection issue, because it seems like there definitely is a lot of lag compensation in this game, which makes Halo good in my opinion, because lag is such an issue. But like I've gotten some headshots on people where I'm like, that's not a headshot, and swiping in Halo 5 is definitely back, like the snipe swipe. You know what I'm talking about, Tom? That's what it's called, right?
Well,
just like
swiping or quick scoping, whatever.
Yeah, that's
I guess those are two different things, but yeah. But
that's true.
So here's my theory on that. I think that it's just we're so used to there being that in Halo that there's actually not that in this game, and that's why it feels so weird. But yet, because I would say by far this is the easiest Halo to get a headshot from behind.
Okay.
Like if like someone's like running, like, you know what I mean? Like if someone's running away from you and you have like a sniper say and like their back's to you, like in any other Halo, it was almost, I wouldn't say impossible, but it was really hard to get like a headshot snipe. In this game, it seems just as easy as getting it from like the side or the front. I just feel like the engine or like the physics of this game, like we were talking about before we started, are just so well that it's just this is how it's supposed to be, but we're so used to it not being like this. You know what I mean? Because I've never, true. I mean, in every Halo, I've had like a what the fuck moment. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that was bullshit. Like, like I beat him down first, or oh, that was like a headshot. And I have yet to have one of those moments in this game.
That's true. I mean, there's definitely a lot of what the fuck moments. Like, I just got shot in the back with a rocket launcher, but I haven't had any moments where you're right, where like I thought I got somebody with a headshot or melee, and it didn't. That's true. Right,
like everything seems to register in this game, and like I'm really happy about that. And like especially like and kind of going back, I know that, I mean, we kind of got off topic because we're talking about like the weapons, but I wanted to add to like what Chris said with the balance of the weapons. Like I like how everything's balanced. I mean, that's always good. Everyone wants balance in video games, but like I think like one of the weapons that rifle. Because it's just, especially it being a starting weapon, like the pistol and the assault rifle, like you're starting with two strong weapons, and I feel like it's really hard to like pull plays off in this game, like because it's pretty much whoever sees the other person first is the person that's going to win the battle, just because every weapon's so strong. You know what I mean? Like if like in every other Halo, if someone caught you from behind with like with like a assault rifle or something, you could turn around and still win that battle. I feel like it's very hard to do in this game.
Yeah,
which is
I kind of disagree with that though. I think it plays more into the way the game plays now with the dash, which I guess is a whole another topic in itself. But the one thing I do like about this Halo is I kept in mind something you told me, Ray, when we were playing, is that like Halo is one of those games where if someone has a weapon or you're getting shot from behind you, there's like no counterplay pretty much, because unless you can just cover immediately there, you're gonna hide. But with the way the dashing works, I feel like there's so much play you can do in terms of like dodging or just getting out of the way of sniper shots, rockets, things like that. That even if you go one-on-one with someone with an AR, you can dash and make a move to kind of mess up their aiming. And I know I've done it before and been victim to it a bunch of times where I've just been firing down and someone dashes at the perfect time and I haven't been able to adjust and they end up winning the one-on-one or getting a reversal. But I feel like the way it plays now, with the movement, you still need to be really accurate with the AR. And I guess it's if you do catch them from behind in a deal situation, there's still some times where there's really nothing because you can just put your full clip in and they're dead. But I still think it's the AR is pretty balanced as is.
Yeah, one of the great things about the AR, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but it always seems to be like if you're not accurate enough with the AR, you run out of ammo before you kill somebody. And I love that they don't put like a ton of ammo, like a huge clip on that gun, because like if you suck at aiming, you're not going to get the kill. It makes it kind of balanced in that way because it's definitely the most balanced gun in terms of like damage and range because you can get some far kills. Like I steal people's kills all the time from pretty far range with the AR, but then it's also really good close up.
You can't spray with it at all. I guess to piggyback on that, it's not, you can't just wildly fire and expect to get a kill. You need to be precise with it to actually ensure you're getting one.
Yeah, and going back, I kind of agree with both of you guys because I was telling Chris when he was over that like if you run into a hallway and you see somebody and pretty much you can tell like a good player from a bad player because all the good players are going to have their pistol out at like a medium range because you're going to get a faster kill than an assault rifle if you're more accurate, right? But then you also do see some bad kids who will like turn a corner, they have a pistol, and you're like, dude, why do you have that out? You suck. Like you didn't even hit me with one shot, you know? So you see a lot of people who are like they're almost forced into using the pistol, but like something that happens to me is that like if you run into someone and you're like say the radar length's away like 18 meters away, if you throw a grenade and you ran into a guy that's pretty good, there's no way you have a chance of winning that fight because you just spent like 2 seconds throwing a grenade and he's already got 1 or 2 shots in you with a pistol and he only needs like 4 shots to kill you. So so that's why I agree with Tom in one end, but then on the other side, I think once people adapt to the dash a lot more, like Chris is saying, that the dash allows you to get out of that situation a lot. And to follow up on what Chris said, like a lot of times people are shooting me, I'll dash like at them and almost get behind them, and then it throws them off, and then you could get like a reversal. But I think
that's why.
Keep going.
I mean, my opinion is also pretty biased, just because it's as much as this game is Halo, it's played nothing like any other Halo. You know what I mean? So it's my. As far as like the weapons and like whatnot, like
I mean it's almost like it's almost like the League approach. Like League wasn't like this before, but Chris always talks about this. Is like in World of Warcraft and League, like they're making so many things powerful that almost everything seems powerful when you don't have it. You know what I mean?
And the fact that everything is balanced when everything is strong in its own way, and it works a lot the same way. Like you have the SMG, like you can burn someone down in a second. You have the Needler, you can burn down someone in a second, and shotguns if you're in range. As long as you're using the weapons in their meant capacity, you're probably going to win. So it's balanced out that way. That I guess going back to every weapon being strong.
Yeah. And I honestly think it's I think it's huge that they didn't start with the BR in this game. Like I know a lot of pros like that, and Tom, like weren't you mad about that at first? But like to me, that just ruins the game. It really does because
I'm lucky as well. I hate it. I couldn't stand the BR and the fact that it kind of just became like find a long hallway and I mean, granted that was a lot of Halo play style, and I have my own complaints about the pistol right now, but I'm glad the AR is the start.
Yeah, me too. Because
I go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that like it looks like this game took a lot from the pros. But like they kind of designed the maps where you can't just like sit down a long hallway the whole time because like the BR is great, and at the end of the day, it's obviously like the best overall weapon to have if you're a really good player. Like Tom with the BR is like I'd rather Tom have a BR than almost any other weapon because I know Tom's gonna outshoot a lot of people with the BR. But when everybody starts with that, it just makes it like there's no point for any other gun in the game. Because I know that each gun has a position, but like when you start with the BR, it's like you're just already getting shot no matter where you spawn, especially because the maps are pretty small.
It makes map awareness a lot less important too, because if you're starting with the AR and you have to know the placement of like if BR might is gonna spawn here in the map and there's only 2 locations, you're gonna want to make a play to get, and it's almost like a mini power weapon in that way if you really want it.
Yeah,
it's the same balance with all the other weapons. It makes you more map aware of in terms of snatching weapons or going to where I know something I've been paying attention to a lot is when someone dies, like an enemy or even like a teammate, knowing they dropped the weapon and where to go back to and kind of fighting over that spot.
And I feel like giving us the pistol is like a poor man's BR anyways. So like I feel like that was a good balance. You know what I mean? Which
is something I hate as it is. Because the one complaint I have, or I know I've said it over the past week, the one complaint I have with the weapons is the pistol's range, I think. And I know it's a Halo thing to, I guess, always have a strong pistol, but the amount of times where I've had a BR, what do you mean?
Oh, just because I mean, like the only other Halo that had this kind of pistol was Halo 1. I mean, actually, well, I take that back. Didn't Halo 4 have a
Halo 4 had
pistol.
a pretty strong pistol as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, it's where Halo started was the pistol. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there was no BR or anything in Halo 1. You know what I mean? Like it was.
yeah. It's I guess it comes down to like a few times where it could play into my own skill as well, since I'm not the greatest with the BR. But times using like having a BR or carbine and being outdueled with someone that has a pistol from across the map, and kudos to them, of course, for being able to get four shots in my head and getting a perfect kill. I mean that's pretty impressive as it is, but I almost feel like at that range, literally the entire length of the rig, that shouldn't be a possible thing for a secondary weapon that you almost have like a mini sniper rifle. It feels like at times, but
Yeah.
that might be something.
I would love to see like stand across a map, take the pistol out and shoot a wall, not move your reticle, shoot a wall, then take out the BR, shoot the same wall, and then take a DMR and shoot the same wall and see where the bullet spread is at. People used to do that in Call of Duty to do like gun analysis on this is like getting way off topic, but like I would love to see that because the pistol should be way less accurate at like a long distance like that. So I'd be interested to see the results.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a skill-heavy weapon. You still need to be able to land your shots, and going for body shots isn't going to get you much. So you're always going to want to go for the head, and same with the BR, any precision weapon like that. But it's still a difficult thing to get down. But
I know Tom's about to like bug out, so
something-
I want to hear Tom's like opinion on the VR and pistol.
Well, as far as what?
Tom's like our pro liaison. So speaking for the pros. Well, because I know you like probably wanted to be our star, and you probably really like the pistol, right? Like having that.
I mean, I love that the pistol. I love that the pistol's back, and as far as the BR is, or as far like, I do like the BR. I love the BR in this game. It's very clean. It's really easy to get 4 shots. Or actually, I think it's 3 shots. Actually, or is it? Oh, it's 4 shots. I think it's 4 shots.
With the BR, I don't know if is it 3 or 4. That's sad. I think it might be just.
I feel like it's 4. I feel like it's 4.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's 4. It's always been 4. I feel like something with the burst in this game, like the way that the burst is, it makes it a lot easier to aim it for some reason. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like it's a lot easier to get perfects with the BR than it is in the pistol in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe in the sense that recoil's more manageable, so it makes the aiming a bit better.
Yeah, the pistol does have a lot more recoil also.
Yeah, it does.
So what I do to avoid that is I'll go for 3 body shots and then I'll go for the headshot with the pistol, and that seems to work out well for me. So I go for the bigger target first and then finish it off, and I don't seem to get outshot too much doing that. But kind of like going back to the question you asked me, I still hope for, because the HCS still hasn't released the rules yet. They released their maps, like the Forge maps they made, that everyone can go download them and try them out. But they still haven't released like the setting rules yet. So I'm still hoping that they do the BR start, just because it's. I look at it more just like a tradition thing. Like it's just what it's been, and it was never a bad thing. So why change it, kind of thing. I mean, the fact that this pistol is back, kind of, I mean, they might decide just to turn the BR into like a power weapon kind of thing, like you said. But as I think there's nothing wrong with either gun. I don't think anything should be changed. I think the range on the pistol it's definitely based off your skill. I mean, an average player isn't going to be able to get it perfect across the map with a pistol. So I don't know. I've
definitely struggled. I've definitely struggled across the map with a pistol. That's for sure.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And that's why I guess I was equally as impressed as I was frustrated with the range of it when someone killed me across with it, because it's still pretty hard to get when everyone's kind of like shifting and shooting at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's it's definitely a high risk, high reward type deal.
And sometimes I do question like where the DMR falls in the game. Like the other day we were playing Warzone, I bought the DMR, or I switched one of my weapons with the DMR just to see. I think what I did is, in Warzone you could switch what weapons you spawn with. After you hit like level 2 or 3, you can switch to the BR, and then later on you could switch to the DMR and the small machine gun. So what I normally I'm rocking like a pistol and a BR or assault rifle and a BR in Warzone, but last night I went to a DMR in the main slot, and then my backup weapon was an SMG because I figured that's the longest range and then the shortest range and it's super strong.
I do something similar as well.
Yeah, almost having like a sniper shotgun kind
Like
of.
the best of both worlds in each scenario.
Yeah, so I used the DMR a little bit more, and the range was a little bit better, but it's harder to get like those quick shots when people get up to like medium close range to you than a BR is for sure, and just like it's just strange because the range is pretty long in this game, so the DMR still kind of feels like it kind of just got like squished into the game in like a weird spot.
I feel like I mean, besides Reach, when it was the only rifle in the game, because I took the BR out for some reason.
So weird.
But as far as Reach, like I feel like the DMR never really had a place. Like maybe like some people like the slower rate of fire, but every time if you go up, like if it's two good players going up against each other, and one person has a BR or a pistol and the other person has a DMR, you're almost going to lose that battle every single time, just because it shoots so damn slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like
So like.
I think that it's good in its place. Like if I pick one off of the map, like I know Coliseum is the one map where I'm usually picking it up because where it's easy to get to. I think it's good, and I've gotten kills with it. But like if I had a choice, I would most likely take a battle rifle over it, and I would definitely take the carbine over it if I wanted a single shot. And that's something I also want to get into too. Is that the carbine? It feels like underrated at this point as well, because if you can manage the aiming and just spam the shots that it allows, it can get a lot of kills. I almost look at it as a better way, a better gun, a better version of the DMR as it is right now.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten some really quick kills with the carbine, like BR status, but like almost faster. I've like turned some reversals around just because I've had the carbine because it shoots so fast.
Yeah. Or it's another scenario I've noticed where on the maps where I've had it is like if I'm in a hallway and there's like one or two enemies where I've just gotten shots lined up on head level, like I've gone like a double kill like extremely quickly before they can manage to get me down, just because how fast you can get the shots off. And it works really well the way it's built right now.
Like the more we sit here and talk about all these weapons, like I just kind of clicked how many damn weapons are in this game. Like there are so many. There's 4 rifles, like the BR, DMR, light rifle, carbine, and then you got like the pistol. The
I
shot.
totally forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, all the freaking the Hydra, the plasma cat. Like there's so many. Like it just kind of the scatter shot and the regular shotgun.
It seems like it's balanced pretty well. Like there's not too many weapons on all the maps. Like it seems like they definitely pick a theme for each map, right? Sometimes I was
gonna say like not every weapon is on every map, kind of.
Yeah.
And each weapon has their own little, I guess, quirk to it. Like the scatter shot, even if it's a shotgun, it's best on like a shotgun type weapon and best in close range. The fact that you can bounce bullets off corners or it shoots far in a straight line makes it really powerful in that sense. Almost like the pulse rifle in Destiny, where like if you time it well, you can really just knock someone down from a medium range as well.
Yeah.
Or like the bullet shot too, being like a mini needler effect. Line up the shot and you pretty much have the kill guaranteed. So each weapon has their own different play. And I guess going off that too, I'm really realizing now there's a good amount of weapons on each map where it's not flooded with everything.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes it a bit more of an important resource.
Something I noticed, like you guys, I don't know if you've had much experience with these weapons, but in Warzone, like the heavy weapons at the back end, like when you have a lot of rec points or whatever, it's kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's nice that there's more options, but there's like a Spartan laser, okay, that you have the regular rocket launcher everybody's used to, which looks like way different. Like threw me off visually. It looks like way different. Yeah. And it totally blocks, like the rocket launcher's always blocked a lot of your like sight, but it blocks like a ton. The whole like right corner is gone. And so you have those 2 heavy weapons. Then you have like this new incarceration cannon, or whatever the fuck that is. I don't know if you've used that. It's like the strongest heavy weapon now, I guess. And then there's the I'm trying to think. There's like a couple other ones, and I'm just confused because there's so many heavy weapons. I don't know if I mentioned Spartan laser. Oh, and the fuel rod cannon. Like I just feel like they're all.
I think too.
It's almost like a negative though to me, because some of them aren't that great, and I feel like it. I mean, I guess you don't have to buy them if you don't like them, but they're all they're all doing the same thing. They're all there to like kill like a heavy vehicle, but like they're just not that great. I don't know. They don't
Well,
none of them do their
my-
job that well. You know what I mean?
My initial thought to it is, at least because they are rec weapons, the fact you might not even have those cards, or you might not even get to the point where you can use those points, which is a small criticism of mine for Warzone. But like the fact that you might not even have those cards, I guess, is the reason for those varieties. You have a better chance of getting a weapon for that role.
Yeah.
And I haven't even used I think it was like the incineration or
Incineration can. I
whatever that
use
one
it.
is.
It's like another charge, and that's another annoying thing. Like so many of them are like you have to charge this weapon up, and then you use this huge heavy weapon like one time. But if you have it and there's not like a vehicle around, you're pretty much like screwed. Like if you run into somebody, they're just gonna four shot you with a pistol, and then you're like, wow, I just used 9 rec points to get this incineration cannon, and I don't know. There's definitely something a little off with those like rec points, because a heavy weapon like that I don't think should be 9 points or 8 or whatever it is. You know.
But my issue with the reg points, I can't recall a close game in Warzone. It's either, especially not really Assault, but the standard Warzone, it's either like you're gonna win, or you're gonna win by a lot or lose by a lot. And the winning side's obviously gonna get more reg points to the point where you're gonna get Wraiths and a Mantis or something like that, Banshee. I almost feel like every score we play is like 1,000 to 300 or vice versa, just whichever team it is. I almost feel like the losing side needs a bit more, maybe not a bonus or some way to get additional rec points to catch up. Because I feel like once an enemy team gets a Wraith, and the amount of resources that a team has to spend to get rid of it is not enough compared to how much the rec points are going to compound for the winning team to get even more high-end weapons, vehicles, things like that. I feel like it's so much of a snowball effect when you're winning that they need to.
Yeah, it's kind of like the League of Legends effect.
Like you get
take
2
towers,
dragons and like a pentakill.
Yeah,
and it stacks way too fast. I think. Like I just remember one time, like I thought we were playing a Warzone, and I thought we were like in a good position. Then they had a Mantis, and that thing we were unable to kill it just because the enemy teammates protected it, and it kept getting kills. And the game was done at that point, pretty much like 10 minutes in or 15 minutes in, whenever they first got it.
Yeah,
and I think there has to be a bit more counterplay when it comes to like the heavier stuff, in terms of not having to wait like your entire game's worth of rec points just to get one thing that, like you said, might not be used if there's no vehicle around. But in that case, if you die with it, then there goes your points.
Definitely, you lose your points super quickly. And in case anybody doesn't know, like when you play Warzone, your team gets rec points as you play. So you start off with 1, and you pretty much can't spawn with anything other than the regular weapon. And then individually you get points for getting kills, but your team also gives you points as a whole. So like if your team meets an objective, you might hit level 3, and then if you have 5 kills, you might hit level 4, and so on and so forth. So like you can get ahead of your team. We found that out. Remember, Chris, from when we were playing, and I had hit like level 4 before you, because I had a bunch of kills. But even then, it takes a long time I think they just need to restructure the point system, at least how you get the points or what things are worth, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I like the worth level of things, like having like a rocket be the highest level, or like the human or like Spartan sniper being the highest level is a good idea. But how fast you can get it is ridiculous, because like you pretty much, like, if you can even get to that point, or if you get it, it's gonna be one time, if that. So I think they should be a bit more I guess not incentive, a chance at actually getting it and it being useful.
What's that thing? Wasn't there a thing in one of the Halos or some game when you got a special weapon, and if you didn't use it before you died, you'd get it again? Wasn't there a game that had that feature?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure if it was COD. I mean, it might have been COD and one of like the special weapons. But yeah, if you got something and you died immediately when you spawned, I think as long as you didn't fire any bullets.
I think it was Call of Duty when you got those care packages.
Yeah, but no, it was the War Machine, wasn't it? That thing.
Yeah,
you would respawn with that.
Yeah, I feel like if you get like a level 9 weapon in Halo, if you die right away, you should get it again when you respawn.
Or just get like a set amount of ammo, and then once, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
don't really
once that's
base it off
expended,
if you die or not. Just you get 10 shots with it, and then once you do that, you know what I mean, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's
like
a really
you
good idea.
purchase a weapon, you permanently load with it
Yeah.
until the ammo is done. Like getting a rocket and having the ability to use 4 shots out of it.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think I'm gonna make a YouTube video about that later. Just kidding.
Keep them informed.
Whatchamacallit, I guess we should probably like move on. Though we've been talking about that for a while. I guess we should at least talk about like the maps and stuff like that. We touched upon that like a little bit. How we were saying the maps are like designed a little bit. They're definitely smaller, but they're designed to where like you can't just sit in one spot and like shoot down a hallway the entire time. But they're definitely still designed where you're supposed to hold down one part of the map, which is like so old school Halo. And like Tom, you were telling that like us day one, like not to move around because it's all about like holding down a position in this game for sure.
Yeah, this Halo more than anything, definitely, and it's like the common theory upon like all the pros and stuff is that this Halo takes the most skill to be good at, but also it takes the most teamwork, more teamwork than any other Halo. So it's definitely, I feel like in this game just because of those two reasons. But like you said, the maps also make it harder because even though they are built to kind of, I mean, I wouldn't even say all of them are built to hold down a certain area, but even the maps that are, like, there's so many different paths to like get to those certain areas that, like, in traditional Halos, like, if you hold down, like, like for instance the BR tower on like Lockout, old school Lockout, like there's only like 2 ways for people to like attack you, like at the BR tower, you know what I mean? And if you guys had a good setup, you would always see it coming. Like in this game, it's kind of hard, but like I feel like there's always more than 4 ways for someone to come get to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the one. I was gonna say the one thought as soon as like Ray said that, like, or the idea of like you have to hold down a spot. Like I immediately thought of Rig and the tower where the sniper spawns. Like
right.
The games we've played that where it's been like 4 of us and we've held it down correctly. Like it wasn't even a close game because we made sure we held that spot. And we used, like you said, teamwork and we let our skill shine through in terms of getting kills off of that. But like even with that tower, like you can jump to that from 3 platforms. You can climb from either side of it, and there's the ramp on the other side that you can just walk into it. So you have to be completely aware. And even if like you're covering all the spots, there's still one spot that's probably not going to be covered.
Yeah, and so not to even mention like the countless little like areas where you can be shot from, like a window or like underneath where the invisibility is. There's so many spots, and that side of the map is so strong. I don't really know how to explain it. If you haven't played the game, you probably wouldn't know Rig, but on one part of the map there's like a tower, and obviously having the high ground in Halo is huge. There's a sniper spawn on this side, and also there's invisibility. So those like the combination of that stuff makes you like that part of the map obviously like advantageous to hold down. So,
yeah, even on the symmetrical maps like Fathom, it's completely it's the same on either side, but holding that high ground gives you such a clear advantage, and the whole reason why everyone just keeps fighting for that, because if you're in one spot, you can essentially see all around the map, aside from like objects blocking certain corners and things like that. So like, just I like the idea that whenever games play around, like there's strategic advantages to holding certain spots. You have to make sure you can get and hold that spot, and it's big in a lot of COD with like COD maps, with a lot of the good COD maps at least. With I'm like thinking of in Black Ops where like B, if you held the spot over B, and as long as you're on that, you pretty much had, I wouldn't say assured victory, but you had the advantage and you could play off that. And I feel like a lot of the maps have like 1 or 2 spots like that in this Halo.
Yeah, definitely.
What
do you guys think about like the overall like map design? Seems like just thinking about a lot of the maps. First of all, I don't know if I've even played them all. Because
my first, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the map rotation obviously hasn't been that great to begin with. Me and Chris played Stronghold, which is like territories, on the Rig like 7 times in a row the other day.
Yeah, and I guess I was going to bring that up as a criticism, I guess, if we ever talked about like the matchmaking itself, because I feel like it's been stellar so far. Or I guess the connection and the Xbox Live portion of it, because everything's been running smoothly. But the amount of times where it's been like a repeat map and then like in triplicate or like 4 times out of 5 seems to be a pretty common thread. Yeah. We're almost at a point where like I played like Team Arena for a day, like 3-4 hours of gaming, and like some maps won't even be touched, or I've seen the same one like 40% of the time. like Rig and Stronghold,
Yeah,
which might be just 343 Industries' favorite at this point. But
pretty much.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the maps. I'm not sure if you guys had any other criticisms on that, but
At first, I really didn't enjoy like any of the maps.
I have to say,
The more I
kind of
play,
agree with that.
the more I play, I'm starting to kind of get kind of like find little like strategies like per map and kind of. But my biggest complaint is that I feel like I'm constantly going back to like the tradition of Halo. I don't know why, but it's what I'm gonna do. It's
you're conservative.
exactly. They feel like Call of Duty maps to me, like with like abandoned cars everywhere. Like it's just I feel like Halo has always been like kind of like not all the maps are asymmetrical, but they were very like just plain and like I don't know.
Not totally. There's
I'm
like
not
a
very good
theme
with
to like
vocabulary.
Halo maps. It's
like,
almost like part of it.
there was never like environment. You know what I mean? Like there was never like cars and like dumpsters and I mean, well, I take that back because there was, but like not the way that like this game has it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. It just feels very.
The arenas were more open in a sense, where it was just more so focused on the players and the models and being in the arenas
Right.
and other objects inside and playing around those.
Exactly, but I mean, also like adding like clamor and all that. I guess in this game they kind of had. Not, I wouldn't say had to do that, but it enables like trick jumps and things like that. It's more shit to jump off of, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's why like the only reason they added it, or it's just. I mean, it's also the way like the next gen's going because now the systems can handle all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like maybe back in the past, like it just like they couldn't render all of those different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
now they have the capability of doing that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about
But
this
like
today. Keep going.
so the like I said earlier, they released a few of the maps that they're thinking about releasing for like the HES that like people made in Forge, and like there's like 3 or 4 of them here that they look more like traditional, like the people that created them kind of went back to like how Halo maps were. You know what I mean? So they look really cool, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
And you can download them from the file share.
that's
Like
pretty cool.
anyone can download them because they want people to play them and give feedback.
All right, we can put that in the link in the description. I'll remember to do it this time. Send it to me.
Nice.
All right, well.
Whatchamacallit, I was thinking about that with the maps. Like if you think about it, like Sanctuary and all these maps, there's like between where the base is in the middle, there's like I mean I guess there's like small rocks, but a lot of the maps, you're right, were so much more open. But I think they did that because I think one of the frustrating things about Halo is when you were out in the open and you're just getting shot from BRs everywhere, and I feel like that probably turned a lot of people off from the game. And I've noticed that like it's a good and bad thing that a lot of times people can like escape you when you're shooting them because they'll get behind like a dumpster or they can get behind cover and then dash somewhere. And it's kind of annoying when you're shooting that person, but at least it makes it a little bit more fair because the game's already really hard when like you're walking around and you start getting shot and like your screen's shaking, your controller's vibrating, and like you don't know where you're getting shot. The mini map's really small. Like I feel like that's almost necessary for them to make a balanced game. And a theme that's like that I've seen in video games for a while now is that like I think they hit a point in shooters where like I think it was like COD, maybe like Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops. After Black Ops 1, they made a really big point to like not have parts of the map where you could just camp. Because in Black Ops 1, like I would just go to the same part of the map every time, get like 40 kills, and that was a wrap. Have a huge KD, kill streaks. Same thing with like Halo. In Halo like 2, we would go to one part of the map, we would shit on people and lockout, and that was it. But then you see like in Modern Warfare 3 and other shooters like Titanfall, and then Halo 4. Halo 4 is the same way, super chaotic, like multiple entrances everywhere. I think they're trying to get rid of that, the capability that for you to just like spawn somewhere and have every door locked down and then kind of like ruin the multiplayer experience. So I think they're doing that on purpose. It's just frustrating because we grew up playing games where we could go to one side of the map, hold it down, and then like just destroy everybody every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I'm glad it's changing on too.
Yeah. But for me and Tom, like old school Halo, that's what we're used to. Like going to the spot, don't move.
But like spawn trapping's back, and well, I wouldn't so much call it spawn trapping, but you're definitely able to control the spawns in this game just like you could like in Halo 2, which is cool. The pros would do it all day, like on Rig. Like Rig is a really easy map to do it. And a few of the other maps.
I haven't even thought about that yet.
That's a small question, or maybe just a thought on that. Like, I get the idea of spawn trapping. I remember we did it in Black Ops 2 and Halo and in COD when we played like ranked and some of that. But like the maps are so small. If most of your team is on one area, you have to imagine they're just going to spawn in the other corner. I mean, especially with Rig being as small as it is. Like if you're in that sniper tower, they're going to spawn on the side of the plasma caster or the where the carbine is over there.
Well, the one way, like the one, like they'll force spawn people to spawn in like that back corner by what the hell's back there?
Like where the stairs are, the carbine.
Yeah, exactly. So they're actually Ogre 2 is actually testing this out in his stream. They're seeing how far, like on the catwalk, you could go up until they would spawn like behind you. They actually spent like 30 minutes doing it in a custom game, and like so you'd have a guy, like two guys, like in like the sniper like hallway area, and then you'd have a guy over at like the that tower over to the left that where like the railgun spawns over there, right? Like right to the left of the sniper. Yeah, and then the last guy was outside on like the catwalk, and like they're trying to see how far he could go up until like they would spawn like behind you. So that's like the one I know well, but I know they keep talking on how it's back, because the past few Halos, like the spawns have just been so freaking retarded. Like it was like impossible to do that.
Well, I mean, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing though? Do you think it's like something that people?
I mean, I think it's a good thing, because it just kind of adds to the skill cap. You know what I mean? Like teams or players or teams who understand that and can do that, like, are going to be, you know, they're going to be at a higher rank. So like people who can't do that aren't going to have to worry about it being done to them. You know what I mean? So, but I think it just adds to the different ranges of like skills that this Halo is going to have.
Sure, I agree with you. I just think there's a line between, like, obviously you don't want like an unfair spawn where like someone's aiming at you. But there was a Halo where that happened, you know. But I think
Halo 2 is the absolute worst. I mean because in Halo 2 the spawn points are actually like set. Like there's only so many points on the maps in Halo 2. That's how like we could, like, if I'm sure you remember doing it, like we could kill someone and then we could throw a sticky grenade in the air and like we would know exactly where they would spawn and we'd have a sticky on their
face. Yeah, I mean, even in the older CODs, I knew that they had set spawn points. Now the games have evolved where the spawn points are pretty much
it's at random.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like they take a spawn point and they make like every area near that a spawn point. Pretty much like almost every spot of the map is like a spawn point, except for like in the middle of a room, you know.
Right. It like the spawns are more based in like zones as far as like actual points.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I don't want to see it where like we get into a game and, you know, it's just like, oh, you're just ending up in like really terrible spawns, and as soon as you spawn, there's like a grenade in your face, and you can't deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, to the pro idea of it, like I think Tom hinted at, like pros are obviously good. As pros being pros, they're going to find the absolute limit of what they can do and what, you know, the game allows them to do, and they're going to find ways to, you know, put that to their advantage. But I don't see that happening, like spawn camping or what's the phrase again? Spawn.
Well, like. Jesus Christ.
God, it's both.
Camping. Like forcing spawns, I guess.
I don't see that being an issue in pro games, really, because I think they'll be able to play around it. But, like, I can see that in a game where, like, we just join in, then we can run into someone, like a good team potentially, or a group of players, and that can be abused a bit much. So it kind of takes away from, I wouldn't say the fun of it, and to me, something like that doesn't increase skill cap. Like that's knowledge of something that might be able to take advantage of a game system, which isn't the most fun thing. I wasn't a fan of it in COD when we did it, even though it had an obvious advantage. I'm interested to see how it'll play out in this game.
So my only like kind of like rebuttal to that is, it's like the error on where like gaming is now, like the fact that esports is so like large now that most games are just designing, you know, like everyone wants to be a pro gamer now, you know what I mean? So like pretty much 90% of people playing games now are gonna like either understand like those kind of strategies, or B, like trying to implement them themselves. But I could see like in the past, like going back to like Halo 2, like people didn't even know like what the hell like MLG was, or like pro gaming was back then. You know what I mean? So like not everyone understood that. So like it was more. I feel like it was more of a problem back then for like casual players, because but pretty much everyone who plays like FPSs nowadays like understands like has some sort of involvement or knowledge in like esports. Like they know like how the game's like not supposed to be played, but like that it's gonna be played that way. You know
the beauty of the internet, where anything that's found out can be seen immediately.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that too.
Yeah, which is true.
Me and Chris have had this talk before. I forget what, maybe with like League, or with Hearthstone, that now the internet, like when a strategy is found out back in the day, like it wasn't spread as fast. Now, like something happens, like a spawn point is found, then everybody's doing it now online in like a second, and you can tell, man, a lot of things have changed. You see a lot more people using scuff controllers, like Tom was we were talking about that on the phone today. You can see people like jumping and shooting you. A lot of people are choosing to run around with a pistol instead of the AR. And to me, that's a huge indicator of like, I mean, I use the AR a lot, but like a lot of times it's an indicator of like skill, because that person like knows he can probably get a 4-shot kill. It's totally different, but I don't know if I wanted to get into this with today, but I guess like, let's just talk about it quickly I think it's a good thing that the game's built around esports and like being more serious, because like at the end of the day, I'm all about that, and I think that it just makes the game more fun. But do you think that's gonna like hurt people who just like want to casually play, especially like with some of the people that we play with? A lot of times, like Tom is definitely on the upper scale of taking it seriously. Then I would say like me and Chris are below that, and then a lot of the other people we play with are probably less like likely to look up stuff or watch a video or like think about where to go on the map and stuff like that.
Go ahead, Chris. You can go first.
All right, my initial thought to that is, in terms of games being balanced for esports, is I think that's inherently a good thing, because it means that the developers will be forced to make sure there is balance and counterplay to anything. Just think about League or Hearthstone is the example where they want to make it for esports, but because of the randomness in the game, it's not exactly something you can do effectively as much. It doesn't make it as entertaining, but we know there's objective limits to things, encounters to certain things, and ways you can play. Then I think it makes it much fairer game overall, and like it kind of goes back to the way the weapons are placed and making fair for the competitive scene. If you go off what the highest skill players can do, and it kind of trickles down that way, I think it's inherently a good thing that it goes off pro or esport type thinking in terms of making the game, because they're forced to make it balanced to make the gameplay good and the gameplay watchable, because that something are all going to rush for something that's completely OP. There has to be counterplay to everything, and I think they've done that, especially like where we talk about the map design, where things are have a counter in terms of where you can enter into a place or attack. Then I think the way they've done it is actually really. I've had so much fun playing it, because I feel like it's balanced and everything matters in a way.
Yeah, totally. But like, what do you think about like say we were doing like the LAN, right? Or say we had the same people we had that came to the LAN. So like say Dan and John get Halo and they just want to play with us. What do you think about like the whole thing that we're going to be like, hey, listen, like get on this side of the map. We need to control this. And then like they're just running around, like going to the enemy, getting killed. Like what do you think about? That's more what I meant. Like with like casual players might not be like. So some people just want to get on and play Halo. You know what I mean? They don't want to worry about like.
Are you going to go, Chris?
I know. I was gonna say. I think that ties back into something we talked about before about like knowing the spawn limits and stuff like that. I think every game's gonna have that. Like we all the time we'd play League. Like there's so many intricacies.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
With the way you can play that, like it's gonna be in every game where people will play casually and they will fall victim to someone who has just more knowledge on the game and experience than them. But I think just the way it's structured, gives them as much of a chance if they're playing, if they're picking up weapons. And there isn't too many things to abuse in the game. But in any game, really, if you go for it, like someone who studies situation, they're always going to have the advantage. And in terms of that, our friends who are more casual to it, it's them being beaten a bit more. That's I can think of every COD we've ever played or every other shooter. That's always going to be a case, honestly. When someone takes it seriously and they're getting more kills.
Yeah, I think there's two answers to the question that I posed. I was thinking about them while you were talking. Is that the first answer is that you're gonna get ranked where your skill level is. So if you are a silver, then you play in silver, just like League. And then the second answer to that is that I don't know if they'll do this, but there isn't really a casual playlist yet for Arena. It's just when you play Arena, it's ranked. So a lot of people have been complaining about that, but I know Halo famously doesn't like to split up playlists because they don't want people searching forever for a match. So I don't know if they'll ever make a separate playlist, but I think the only thing that stays the issue is that when we're playing with someone that's good, like me, us three, or like Steve, who's going to be rated really high, and then you're playing with someone who's never played Halo before in our party, it's going to create an issue no matter what, and that kind of stinks. But that's just part of it. It's every game. It's League, so you're right. It's every game.
Yeah, and it's also managing personalities that we play with when we have hyper serious people and then not as serious people. I mean, we can go play a pickup game basketball and have the same issues.
That's true.
There's kind of a few ways you can look at that question that you asked, and I'll probably say the same thing some of you guys just said, but the first thing you have to think about is everything evolves, right? So gaming isn't evolving, you know what I mean? Back when the Halo 1 came out in 2001, 2002, the point of gaming was to have fun, you know what I mean? That's why you had all the crazy game types, the team rockets and the team snipers, where it was just based around just having fun, messing around, just 9,000 rockets flying through the air, things like that, you know what I mean? Fast forward to 2015, a little over a decade later, the point of gaming is to be in esports, you know what I mean? That's the objective of everyone who picks up a video game nowadays, you know what I mean? Even as realistic as it is or it isn't, that's everyone thinks they're gonna be a pro gamer, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where the games have to base themselves off of, and you know what I mean? So there's always gonna be those people that lose because they're not going to look at it that way.
I wouldn't say everybody, but definitely a large portion of players, and especially in the FPS.
That's kind of where I was getting at. Exactly. It's more. There's more people now than there was back then taking things seriously, and there's always going to be those people that are looking to have fun, and unfortunately, the game's not going to be as fun for them anymore because it's not. The games aren't made to not to say not to have fun anymore, but they're made to be taken more seriously with strategy added to them and setups and team shooting. It's because it involves a lot of teamwork, especially like I said before, this game involves a lot of teamwork. Just having the run around mentality isn't good. It's not going to work in this game. You know what I mean? Unless you're a god. And then also I feel they did a good way of kind of splitting casual players up with the serious players. I mean, unfortunately, with the Warzone, obviously that's made for casual players or people who are just looking to have fun. The only downside is, like you said, there's no 4v4 game type for casual players. But I'm almost positive I read somewhere that they're going to be adding a lot more game types. They're going to be adding team doubles again. So I'm sure that they're going to add some kind of unranked team arena.
Sense. Yeah, you would expect them to do that.
Or something. I mean, Halo's always added game types as the time went on, or changed game types, things like that. That's something they've always done. But I feel like Warzone is a good start for casual players. They added the rec system, so that kind of feels exclusive to casual players because that doesn't matter in arena. So that might make people feel special if you're a casual player. Only I can use my rec cards. You know what I mean? And I don't know, to me, rec cards aren't a big deal, but to someone else who's just a casual player, they might think they're awesome. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel totally. They did a good job kind of splitting. It almost feels like two different games, kind of. You know what I mean? You have the team arena side of the game, and then you have the Warzone kind of side where it's a different kind of game totally, how you play it, and then with the rec packs and all that, it just adds different strategy, a different meta, if you will. So I feel like they kind of did the best they could of separating like for like giving the casuals everything they want, and then obviously giving the esports, because that's, I mean, ultimately it's all about money. You know what I mean? And esports is what brings money. So I feel like they're forced to, and plus like 4 developers of this game were ex-Halo pros. So
I mean, my general critique to that is, as much as, I mean, to say that like the objective of gaming now is just to become a pro gamer or to focus on esports, as much as, you know, as big as it is now, I think that's a flawed thing, because I think in essence the point of gaming is to have fun. I just think that because gaming in general, like across platforms, like on phones and, you know, whatever system and console you use, it's gotten so big that along with the casual population getting bigger, that the population that I guess the higher ups that want to get better at a game has become a much larger pool of players and much more vocal. So I guess that's where esports has become big, and that community has gotten even bigger instead of just such a small fringe group of people. So the competition has gotten better. So I do agree that games are making sure that like any viable game now is going to have a pro or an esport variant to it, and this game definitely, I think, split it up too much. Like you're referring to, like the Warzone's casual, and that the Team Read and all those other playlists are meant to, you know, see where your skill is. So I kind of hope they do add an in between. I thought at first that I didn't miss big team battle, but I was thinking like having an 8v8 instead of just like this completely different Warzone gameplay where there's NPCs and all that, and then just like 4v4 hyper competitive. Like a small casual mix of it would be nice.
It's definitely one extreme or the other. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to be putting in like big team battle and, like Tom said, double, so it will get a little bit more balanced out, I think, once they add some of that stuff.
Yeah. I've stopped holding criticisms of the games, especially nowadays, and especially console games that come out right away. And just looking, even though I haven't played it, it seems like Destiny has obviously improved itself a lot after 1 year, and I feel like especially with the way you can update games now, just in a second and with the hotfix, that you kind of you're almost owe games now time to see where they're going to update and where they're going to implement new things, and hopefully developers stay on top of that as well.
Yeah. So
and all DLC for Halo is free, which is cool too. Like when they release new maps and stuff.
That's huge.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So we're like a little bit over an hour, so I figured we could just wrap it up with like some button layout talk. It's a quick conversation, probably not that important, but I think it's interesting because, like, you know, Mark, who just started playing Halo, was wondering about it. So somebody might be curious to like what the button layout is and what they prefer. Obviously, I think there's a huge conflict with like what button layout to use, because if you played Halo for a long time, half your brain thinks like I should be doing this kind of thing. Then if you play like other FPSs like Call of Duty, part of your brain thinks like I should be playing this way. Then there's new abilities in Halo. So I know me and Chris have been using fish sticks, which is like COD. That's why it's named fish sticks. It's a play on words. I was using default because that's what like Halo 4 used, and my brain kind of goes back to like that Halo 4 style play style. And then I was trying to do the old style Halo where like left thumbstick is jump, but I just couldn't do it. So I know since me and Chris are using more of the Call of Duty layout, Tom, I mean, do you want to talk about you're using like one of the older layouts?
You mean crouch for left thumbstick? Not jump?
Yeah, that's what I say, jump. I meant crouch, yeah.
Jump, yeah. I use recon just because that was. So I think L zoom has no place in Halo for some. I don't know why, but
it does feel weird. L zoom. Me and Chris are doing that.
I feel like the way you zoom in Halo is nothing like the way you zoom in Call of Duty. Like I feel like you zoom in totally different, not so much different instances, but like it's just. I just feel like the reason you zoom in the games are different, and I feel like the L zoom in Halo, it just doesn't seem like it because you use grenades way more. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe it's just like I said, it's just what it's been, and I don't like change kind of thing. But I don't like how they added that to a lot of the button layouts. Pretty much was what I was trying to say. So I use recon, which is pretty much the exact same thing as traditional Halo. Pretty much the only difference is that the right bumper is reload and X is sprint, opposed to traditional Halo where X has always been reload. But other than that, everything is pretty much the same. Like the zoom is still the click right thumbstick, the crouch is still left thumbstick, like jump and all that's the same. What is left bumper? Oh, left bumper is the thruster. So I kind of like it because I still play claw, so I can like jump and thrust at the same time, which is kind of adds for a nice little combo. And obviously grenade and shoot are the left and right trigger. But I feel like that's the I was looking at them before the game even came out to kind of see which one I want to play, and Recon was definitely the one that stuck out to me the most because it was the most traditional. And I like the controls. I didn't think they needed to be changed at all. Like I wish there was a layout where like X was still reload because I don't know. I like that a lot more. But I wish console games would do it kind of like how computer games are, where you could just map your own controls. I don't know why they don't do that. Like I wish you could do that, but I mean you can't. So kind of got to live with it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Well, there's so many different things here, so I don't want to like drag it out too much. But like, first of all, I guess the Xbox Elite controller you can map some of the buttons to, and the buttons in the back, and that's why a lot of people are getting scuffs. But I agree with you. That's like a big.
Not mapping that way. I mean, like mapping as in like you can make X be whatever thing.
Yeah,
like you can make it reload, you can make it sprint. You know?
Definitely. I don't know why they haven't done that. There's a lot of people who are like disabled gamers who talk about like why they haven't enabled you to like configure the controller. I'm not really sure why that isn't a possibility yet. I think it's because they don't want people like doing really weird configurations that would like manipulate the game, but I don't see how that's possible. But going to the fish sticks that me and Chris are using, I think X is reload, right, Chris, on that?
Yeah, that's why. That's the main reason why I wanted it. I've always loved that from COD. It's just always that seems the most natural to me.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I agree with you. Having L as zoom felt weird, but left bumper as grenade, and I feel like that's not a bad sacrifice to have left bumper as grenade, or right bumper as grenade in that. Right
bumper is grenade.
Okay,
left bumper is dash.
Yeah, left bumper is dash, and right bumper isn't that bad because you can't throw a grenade and shoot at the same time, really. But yeah, you can't in the game. It's not fast enough.
Yeah, so you're not wasting that finger movement.
Yeah, I guess exactly. I played too much. Me and Chris played too much COD to switch back and forth. Yeah. I think in the past couple of years.
I mean, between COD and other FPS games, and like I remember when we first started playing this Halo, you're like, well, this is the default controls, and I thought in my mind like, I have no idea. If you asked me what the default controls were for Halo going way back in the first two, like 1, 2, or 3, I would have no idea what to tell you. So I was going with the boy I was most familiar with. And that's
sure, but me and Tom played a lot more Halo than you, right? The Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah, I played a decent amount of 2, but like you guys knew everything out of that game. I was playing like Counter-Strike around that time as well.
I remember like a year or two ago, I went on Bungie.net and like looked up like all my gamer tags that I could remember because I had like 37 of them during Halo 2, and I had like over a year game time played.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not even including like how much time we spent in custom games too, which is sad.
Right. Yeah. Like that. Exactly. That's just matchmaking. So it was probably, I don't even want to know how much time added for custom games because that's all we played in Halo 2. We didn't even really play matchmaking for the most part. Remember, it was like level 1 was like the way to go. Like that was a cool thing to be. It was level 1.
Yeah, because they knew you were just like practicing to be like MLG almost. Whatchamacallit? But if you're picking, going back to the layout, if you're picking a layout, I guess the most important thing is melee is strong in this game, just like every other Halo. So you need to be able to melee comfortably. Throwing grenades is huge, and that new grenade is really strong. The one that like is like a Destiny grenade where you throw it and it scatters.
Yeah. The Promethean grenade.
Yeah. I actually want to talk about that when we were talking about the weapons, and I forgot to bring that up.
Oh, well, yeah, bring it up in one second. I just want to go over. So like the melee is really strong. Now that you also have the dash melee is good. The ground and pound I wouldn't worry about having to do. Yet it doesn't seem like that's going to be really efficient. It's fun, but I wouldn't worry about you having your controller setting to that. So as long as you can, and crouching doesn't seem to be that important. It does take you off the radar, but there's not a lot of areas where you need to be crouching. I know some people prefer.
Well, crouching, they added a lot of jumps to like you have to like crouch clamber in order to do them.
Okay.
Like you can't just clamber. Like that was like a big thing they added.
Okay, so
It was
that's
kind of
something to
like
consider.
it seems like a lot of stuff they added in here was to like create like skill gaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is good. The various
exactly.
forms of play.
But what I was just thinking is that there's so many buttons that a lot of people like myself, like I have to just at one point in time you're gonna have to sacrifice unless you have a scuff controller. One of the buttons, like Tom, in my opinion, you're sacrificing sprint. I know it's not that hard to hit X, but it's not as easy as me and Chris just hitting left thumbstick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I definitely am, but and I was kind of worried about that at first, but then I thought about it and I'm like, when am I ever going to have to use like what's the most important time during a game is when you're like battling someone, like you're in a shootout, right? Obviously that's the point of the game. So like I'm never going to have to sprint in the middle of a battle, you know what I mean? So that was like kind of like what I kind of told myself when I kind of gave up that button.
Yeah,
but now with recon it's almost I can hit jump because like I said I play claw, so I can hit jump, I can still aim, like my left bumper is my thruster, I got my grenade and my trigger, obviously like I have everything I need like at once. And but like you said, I am sacrificing that X, but pretty much anytime I'm sprinting, I'm not going to need to be aiming. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the thought process I had behind that.
yeah, that's exactly what I wanted you to talk about. So because I think that will help people if they're picking a controller layout. And then at least for me, maybe Chris can add, but like we're sacrificing pretty much B as crouch, and to me, like there's some windows, and I guess what you're saying, it does help you like climb some areas, but there's not that many windows in the game, and if there is, it's fairly easy to hit B, but I that's what we're basically sacrificing because everything else.
I mean, to me, it's not even sacrifice because I mean, Halo was never really a game where you were good. Like, I mean, I think I might have said this to you earlier when we were playing, but like in COD, the fact that you can like go prone and literally crawl through some areas, and there's a lot more sneaking involved considering the objects on the map, and there's more of that now. But like, Halo is more about just sprinting, and at least this Halo feels like more like sprinting. So unless I found at least in the way I played, unless I'm trying to hide from someone and kind of wait for an opportune time, I'm not really worried about crouching.
Yeah, but I guess the strategy that some pros do, Tom, I don't know if they still do it, is they'll jump in the air and then crouch while they shoot you. They'll crouch. They'll continuously hit crouch, so it's changing the level of their head. So I meant more like we're sacrificing the ability to do that while we shoot, while Tom is kind of sacrificing the ability to like to slide a lot, right? Like you can't really slide effectively. Yeah. Like a lot of times, if I'm getting shot at, I can slide behind a dumpster and then I can thrust out. So, like, those are kind of the two things, and I think that our two controller configurations are what you probably should be playing as, because Recon is the closest to Halo, and ours is the closest to COD, which is pretty much like the industry standard of like FPS gaming.
Right.
So,
yeah, those are the two biggest.
Yeah.
So actually, going back to the crouching thing, one thing they did in this game was, I know it was in the beta. I'm not sure if they changed it, but so when you crouch, that's why you need to crouch to make some jumps. It's not the top of your body going down; it's your legs coming up.
Okay.
Because in other Halos, it was your body coming down. That's why it would change the level of like your head and stuff. But in this game, they did it like your feet are coming up. Like now that I say it, kind of doesn't make sense. But
no, it does totally make sense.
Like to me, it's the way the mechanics work in the game,
right?
And the way it affects the extremities.
And they did it that way so that you could have like the crouch jumps and stuff, so that like your legs would be coming up higher.
Okay, so basically people can't really manipulate that crouching technique as much then in this game.
Exactly.
Okay. So me and Chris's button layout for the win. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of going again, like you're not going to need to crouch in battle. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of like the same premise that I go by. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to need to sprint in battle, so
yeah,
I'm fine sacrificing.
And at the end of the day, it's better what you just feel comfortable with playing as.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess you wanted to mention something about the Promethean grenade, and then we'll wrap this up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just think like pretty much in every other Halo, my biggest complaint was like the 9,000 grenades they had, because they had like the shield grenades, the there's the healing grenade. There's so many damn grenades in all the other Halos that it used to aggravate me. I mean, Garrett, most competitive settings took those out, but I like this grenade a lot because you can use it. It's like a strategy. Like I almost treat it like a power weapon at times, Because
Yeah.
like I'll save it to points to like where if we are holding down a map, like I'll use it to like block off a doorway. You know what I mean, or things like
Yeah, I'm
that.
glad
Like
you
it's
brought that
definitely
up. Yeah, that's a good point.
like, I mean, that's like I mean, most people that's the first thing they thought about it. Like when they saw how it worked was to use it as like I compare it to a claymore like in Call of Duty, like kind of like put it behind you to like make sure you're safe. I mean, granted, it doesn't stay there forever, but I mean, you get those few seconds of safety. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just
I mean-
explain how it works real fast if anyone hasn't used it.
So pretty much so if you haven't used it, obviously you toss it like a regular grenade, it like the same mechanics, but when it hits, it expands into like a big ball of little mini grenades, and if someone walks into it, they all go off like a chain reaction and essentially kills you, which is it's a one-hit kill. Like if you throw it at someone, it'll kill someone. Which
That
is
was one of my
different.
thoughts. It's almost like a
Because-
sticky grenade, but with better odds. You know,
Right,
you,
exactly.
you get a stick it with a one of those. It's nice, but like if the parts of the nade will kill them almost immediately.
Yeah.
So
Right,
it's
exactly.
um,
So it's nice because you can it's something that you'd want to save and use in certain instances. It's not just like a grenade you kind of just throw out like you would like a frag or a sticky. So I think they did this is the first grenade in any Halo that I've like agreed with besides the frag and sticky.
That's a good point.
although
I feel the same.
I will say with this grenade, the amount of times that I've had a teammate walk into mine after I used it to kind of shut off
Oh,
a doorway and they got a betrayal has been almost comical at this point. I want to see how that continues.
Yeah.
I mean,
hear
I've
you.
run into my own a bunch of times too.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. It's hard to tell once it's on the ground who's. You know, it's really hard.
Well,
to tell.
yeah, and I mean, obviously, like friendly fire's on, so
Yeah.
you can just if your teammate walks to yours, like Chris said, it's just gonna blow them the fuck up anyway. They get a betrayal.
Yeah. True.
So it's definitely something you have to, and that, like I said, that it all leads back to communication and teamwork. I mean, obviously, like you don't need to communicate, hey, that's a grenade, because I mean everyone knows what the hell it looks like. But I mean,
Yeah.
communicating it would be a lot easier to let everyone know. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I threw it. There's a grenade in that doorway. Make sure you don't go that way, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that was pretty good. We made it like I have an hour and a half on the recording, but the first like 10 minutes was us like figuring some stuff out. So it's probably like an hour 15. So I think that's pretty good. We covered like pretty much all the major topics here, like game types, weapons, maps, the button layout, the rec packs, pretty much like play style, how the game works. I think that's a pretty good summary.
We definitely touched a little on
We didn't talk
everything.
about weapon skins.
What's up?
We didn't talk about weapon skins.
Oh, how dare you!
The highest
Chris.
priority.
How dare you. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, 1 weekend, I think that's as far as you could really go. Like, I mean, we pretty much explained everything. Obviously, not everyone's going to know every map and like where every gun is so far. That's stuff that takes a little while. But I wanted to end it on. I'm looking up everyone's score right here. So service record on Halo Waypoint, which I really like using this at work. I like check some stuff. It's pretty cool. I mentioned this in a video, but I'll just mention it again that if you go to halowaypoint.com on the blog, there's a ton of information where you can like look at. They have there's just a ton of stats, but in the blog they posted a thing where they have like the first person to get a double kill, the first person to get a triple kill in the world. It was pretty cool. They had some insane medals that like only 2 people have gotten so far, and it was just fun to read. I posted in one of my videos. I guess I'll post it again, but. Looking here at our stats, so Chris has the most time played right now. This lags a little bit, but I think it just updated. So Chris has 23, almost 24 hours played in the game, and he has 155 games played. So in about 24 hours, you could probably get 156 game played. But that's mixed between Arena and Warzone. Warzone's about like a half hour, so that's a little bit longer. And Chris has a 1.08 KD. Okay, not to put you on the spot, Chris.
I'm terrified.
Then we have Tom, who has, oh my god. Before I thought this said 13 hours. This is 1 day played and 4 hours, 3 hours and 48 minutes. So Tom has 28 hours played in the game so far, and that's 183 games. So that's funny. He only has 4 more hours, but he has like 30 more games played than Chris. So you could tell Tom's been playing all Arena. And
That's because I spam free for alls. That's why.
yeah, Tom has the highest score. obviously the highest CSR, which is like your rank in the game. But Tom's KD is 1.225. Okay. So we have that, and then we have Blitz 5, obviously the greatest Halo player ever. I've only 10 hours played in the game, but I do have 62 games played. I've been playing a lot of Arena too. And I have the highest KD, rounding to a 1.6, but right now currently 1.58 KD.
I mean, I've always been more of a glue guy, no matter what game. So
That's true.
I think
You're
it's
like a
9
Steve.
digging
You're like an
my
old
entire
Steve.
So I think I'm like a Steve Ray hybrid.
Yeah, there you go.
Playing free for all in this game is really hard, man. It's like it's hard to keep a good KDA.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I haven't played much free for all, but like you go 1-1
all the time.
Yeah,
it's really
that makes sense. I think if you
like
play more free for all, your kill death ratio will lean more towards like a 1-1 ratio.
Because on the if you look on the service record on the game, it like breaks it down. You have a KDA for each like game type, and I think my KDA for like Arena is like a 6 point something.
Okay,
If I remember it correctly.
there you go. All right, well I think that's pretty good. Yeah. So I guess you guys want to play. What's up?
Yes.
Want to play some Halo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we got to do like an outro, right? Don't podcast of outros.
No, I could do an outro. I think we're good, man. I think we're good here. Unless you want to say something.
All right.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, thanks for doing this with me. I guess we're gonna aim to maybe do another one next week, and then we'll see where we go from there. All right?
We should do every Tuesday because that's when the game came out.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
State of the game.
Yep, stay true.
State of the Spartan.
That's hilarious.
Even though they changed the release date. This is the only Halo that's not come out in November.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
I know.
An American institution has crumbled.
They had to get ahead of Call of Duty though. Makes sense.
That's exactly what it was, probably. That's exactly why they did it. I'm almost positive. But, all right.
We'll
see you guys next week.
Later.
Later.